review of the AC/DC album Blow Up Your Video. It was released in 1988 and produced by Harry Vanda and George Young. So this is their last album where Simon Wright played drums, which I think that makes only like two full albums with him, at least for the band. Fly on the Wall and this one. Although he did play on the three new songs on the Who Made Who soundtrack. And this is also, I think, the last album where Brian Johnson wrote lyrics for the band. So this was an album that, like, I found this album by, like, going through a stack of old cassette tapes that my dad had when I was growing up. This wasn't an album that he had on CD, which is how he had all the other ones, which I kind of, like, stole his CDs as soon as I got into AC/DC. And none of my friends had this album either. Actually, when I found the cassette tape, I kind of immediately, like, took it back to my room and listened to it, and liked it quite a bit. And I went to school the next day and, like, told my friend who was a big AC/DC fan about it, and he actually hadn't heard of it, so I thought that was kind of cool. So I ended up going and buying a CD of it as soon as I could find a copy, so I could show him. And it's always kind of been one of my favorite AC/DC albums, even though I think a lot of people don't really like it. I usually see it kind of ranked low when I watch, like, videos and stuff of people ranking AC/DC albums. But for me, it's always kind of been one of my favorites. So anyway, the first song on the album, Heat Seeker, I think it's a great opening track. It's catchy, it's got some good guitar parts on it. The production in this album I like a lot more than the production on Fly on the Wall, where, that was just Angus and Malcolm producing, which, I think Angus and Malcolm did a good job when they produced Flick of the Switch. Fly on the Wall, for some reason, it didn't seem to do as well. But this album, having their brother George Young and Harry Vanda come back and produce them, I think helped. And it sounds a lot better than the last album did. The second song, That's the Way I Want to Rock and Roll, is almost kind of like the title track because it says Blow Up Your Video on it. And it's another catchy song with good guitar. Another one I've always really liked. Then the third song, Mean Streak, is probably, I don't know, this one's kind of close to my favorite song on the album. I just think it's got some really cool guitar in it. It's like a catchy song. Brian sounds like he's having fun on it. I've just always really liked it, and I think that like, I don't know, those first three songs on it to me are like pretty strong for like a first three opening songs on the album. The fourth song, Go Zone, is kind of where the album gets like a little loses a little bit of momentum, but it's still a good song. Only slightly weaker than those first three, but it's still pretty good. The fifth song, Kissin' Dynamite, is another one that to me it's not quite as catchy as some of the other songs, but it's got some cool guitar on it, so I like it. There's really, like, these songs don't have anything wrong with them. It's just like after those first three, they're just kind of a little step down. But then the sixth song, Nick of Time, is another one I really like. It's got kind of a different intro where I think it's like the bass kind of stands out a little bit. But I've always liked the song. I'm not really sure what else to say about it, but I think it's one of the better songs on the album. The seventh song, Sin for Nothing, is another pretty good one. It reminds me of like kind of like the songs on For Those About to Rock for some reason. The eighth song, Rough Stuff, it starts off kind of weirder with, like, I think like Brian kind of like talking more. But once it gets going, I think it's one of the catchier songs on the album, actually, so I like the song pretty well. Then the ninth song, Two's Up, it's another one I like the guitar parts a lot. The 10th song, This Means War, is a pretty cool way to close the album. I think it's got some cool, like, fast guitar parts. Just overall, this album, I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. Like, I don't know, I just really like it. I think it's kind of an underrated AC/DC album. I think all the songs are pretty solid. Like there's nothing bad about any of them. The production's pretty good. I don't know. I think it's definitely probably a better album than Fly on the Wall, and probably better than some of their more recent later albums. So yeah, Blow Up Your Video, definitely check it out sometime if you haven't heard it, or maybe if you have heard it, like give it another